Geartrix, aka Geartrix. That's what's going to be on the title anyway. So I did pretty well with this. The match to Burning Abyss that I lost was actually a pretty good loss. I mean, it wasn't like incredible like flogging. It was a 2-0, but I did pretty well. I put in a good effort, but Burning Abyss is Burning Abyss. It is what it is. So disclaimer: if you're expecting to see Augur in here, go watch something else, because I ain't running Augur in here. Literally. I will explain that once I'm done with showing the actual Gear engine that I did run. So, triple armor. I still maintain that this is the better of the search cards. It is slightly slower, but the thing is, with this build, Augur is... My opinion of Augur in this particular build with Geartrix is not a very grand one. I think it's actually kind of crummy. If I was playing something that ran other types of machines, like Machina or Karakuri, then Augur would be a good idea to use because it could search those other cards out. But a deck like this, you don't need Augur, honestly. You really don't. Just stick with your armors and you'll be fine. It'll be a bit slower, but just don't like it. Don't like it in this build. 3 Arsenal, just for the super searching and shit like that. Helps with combos. Accelerator. See these guys for absolute days. It's about as standard as a Gear engine would get, with the exception of the Augur. Then around the 1 Gear to float the Gigant. This thing was really good. I did actually open with this in hand a couple of times, which was rather disgusting. But a fair way of the time, I actually would set this, and like not even intentionally thinking about it. I just basically just setting this, which once my opponent actually gathered, that it would literally it would actually telegraph to them that it was a armor and not just this, which actually did help me in a few ways, because my opponent would just not attack into this, and then I would just say, hey, I got a Gear I'm going to summon Arsenal. Arsenal just get something else, and then just bring the Arsenal back with this and make a play. So that was actually quite an unintentional sort of extra bonus thing that you could do with that card. So it's still not a very good card to actually open up or draw into, because you kind of want it in the graveyard quickly as possible so that you can float your Gigant when it dies. And then for the Geartrix engine, I played the triple Mamilio and the 1 Dionaea. I don't think the Dionaea actually has any sort of... I don't think any of my matchups were influenced by the Dionaea. I think I had one match where I Dionaea'd, but I would probably have won that match anyway. So the Dionaea is not even that necessary. I just opted for it for just an extra quick seize play, and of course the back row hate. So that was pretty... I got it off once, popped a back row, so it did put in work, but it's not entirely necessary. I just threw it in because I could. Spells, triple upstart. This was good. Started this out against Shadow Books for game 3 because I figured we'd go into time, and we did. I don't think it would have mattered that much because it was actually a misplay that cost him that game as well, because he had Maxi in his hand, and I just went absolutely apeshit, and he forgot that he had the Maxi in his hand. So, and I knew that he had the Maxi in his hand, so I was being very careful. So I just made the play, and then I just did shit, and then I'm just like, wait, where the hell's your Maxi? And then he just realized after I'd done all the blight plays he missed. But anyways, duality, it kind of clashed a bit, to be perfectly honest. Like I had hands where I could have easily gone with something like a Arsenal play and then set the armor. But I also had the duality, and I wanted to see, like, I'd usually have this Arsenal and Mamilio. Like, if I had the Mamilio, then I wouldn't even think twice about just going duality, hopefully digging for a back row, and then just adding another back row with Mamilio. But in other situations where I didn't have the Mamilio, it was a little bit, like, did I want to do that, or did I want to just commit the Gigi play? So 2 Lance, this was decent. I believe I did use it to protect against a Mirror Force once. 2 STs, standard. Book of Moon, did nothing. And Raigeki. Raigeki was... It's Raigeki, puts in work. does well against a Burning Abyss if you know exactly when to use it. They say, like, oh no, it's not good against Burning Abyss. It is if you use it correctly. Traps, triple Fiendish. Put in the work you'd expect it to. 3D Prison again, put in the work you expected it to. A couple of occasions I'd side one out because it wasn't necessary. I believe Spellbook's one of those matchups I did that for. Double Time Space Trap Hole. This was actually this is a good card to run into because I'd usually side out a Mamelio and a Dianea to put the Flying Seas in, because that was the only monster I sided in. And so I would usually end up siding one of these out as well, just in like dependent on the situation, of course. I think I did that for. I didn't want to do it for Burning Abyss, but I think I did anyway. I know I did it once or twice, but it was pretty good. I had a BLS with this thing, so it was freaking amazing. I think he forgot that I had the time space there, and it's just like, oh shit, kind of a thing. And then he had to read it again to see, okay, what exactly does this thing do? It's like, oh shit, that's actually a good card. So, yeah. Double Wiretap. I got round a Karma Cut, which actually allowed me to get the Dark Rebellion play off and knock over that Majesty's Fiend, which was nice. And of course it stopped other stuff, so it was very effective. Double Call the Haunted. This is good for end phasing because it's essentially the same as an MST if you can get a Mamelio as well. This is also an out to Vanity's Emptiness. I know it sounds a bit stupid, but if your opponent activates Vanity's Emptiness, like if you can chain this to Vanity's Emptiness, then you can get rid of it because you can then just bring Mamelio back from the graveyard, and then once Mamelio activates an Indian chain, you can get rid of one of your opponent's back row and the Vanity dies with it, which I love to bits. We then have Bottomless Main Deck Soul Drain, which I did not see. I maintain the belief that this should go up to something higher than 1. I think just to slow the shit like the Shadows and the Burning Abyss down, this should go to 2 next format, just to slow those decks down if they're not going to get horrendously hit by the January list. And then there's the Compulse. Okay, so extra deck. Triple Gigant. You have to run it. It sucks that I offloaded my playset secrets because it would have been nice in this situation, but oh well. Dark Rebellion Xyz Dragon. If anybody gives me crap for running this, just remember I knocked over a Majesty's Fiend with this. Most of the people would have seen that and just gone scoop phase. I had the play to make this and ran over it. So this card is good. And against a Utopia Ray Victory that the random deck ran, I cut it in half, added this, and basically had a 39 beat stick with which I just blew my opponent to bits. So, good card is good. Exciton, I got this off once against Satellarknights, but I did not gain that much advantage over it, which sucked. Emerald, saw this once, got some good shuffling back out of that. Honorak, I saw this once. Black Ship, I saw this I think once or twice. Castells I did not see. I could have easily Castelled when I dropped the 101, but I wanted the 101 just to secure my opponent's stuff. Abyss Dweller, didn't see it, but it's just one of those things. Cowboy for Game, got it once. Ragnar Zero, never saw it. That wasn't a relevant matchup. There was a guy with Clifford's, and I think he won actually. So I'm not actually too sure because I lived before the finals were. But he at least made top 4, definitely. But Rhapsody, saw this once, and then just a random Gigant. I ran this because one of my earlier tournaments, I got fucked over by Stygian Dirge, and I didn't want to be fucked over by Stygian Dirge again. So in case I went up against somebody that had sided it, I decided to just throw this in for the crap of it. But yeah, it's just one of those things, you're never going to see it unless your opponent has the correct card to side against it. So that way you're just like, oh hey, I can still make plays. So that's basically how that worked. That's basically just a player preference sort of thing as well, so you don't have to do it, but I like just being... I didn't want to be caught without, basically. Okay, so side, 2 Flying Sea. Never saw this. 3rd MST. 2 Spell Shattering Arrow. I believe I sided this in against Geartrix because he had Burden. and I believe I also saw this against... Also cited this against Shadow Books. Never saw it at all. Neither of the matches. Never saw the Spell Shattering Arrow. Nobleman for the Shadow matchup. Never saw it. Chain Dis. I cited this against Shadow matchup, and because I can get rid of Falcos. And I also saw it against... I also cited this against Burning Abyss. It was dead against Shadows, and I never saw it against Burning Abyss. So, side-wise, I got screwed over. Double Light Mirror, saw this once against Burning Abyss. He played around it, though. Double Shadow Mirror, saw this against Geartrix primarily, and that was about it. And then Non-Fusion Area, I think I had this in one of my matchups. One of my games against Shadow Books. I know I revealed it with a duality, but didn't pick it. But I think I had it in another matchup and then did not see it because he never played his fusions. So that is it. That is Geartrix. I shall now end this video so that I can open the door and get a massive whiff of fresh air. I do believe it's now dropped to about 34 degrees. Not that much, but it's still something. God damn it. Why is it so fucking hot over here? So... that's it. If I don't take this next week, as I said in the tournament report, I'll probably just go with Fluffles, just for trolls. So, yeah, see you for whatever it is that... Oh, actually, hilarious Tale from the Crypt. Bought another 5D's Legendary Collection. I decided against opening it on video because I just couldn't be bothered. I kind of probably should have because... yeah. That's one box, by the way. See ya.